With that said, family, we have a situation going on in this country right now. We have a situation going on in this country where we're watching the Confederacy take control of the power in these states that we were once slaves in. That could be any number of states, but I'm speaking specifically in the South. If you look at what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi, it's state laws, then you could get an understanding of what, and this is not the fact that I might not stay on it. There's nobody that say if they can hear it or not, or if it's coming through, if it's not coming through. All right, so yeah, I don't know. All right, I might shut this down. I might shut this down. I don't think this is streaming good at all, which means it wasn't meant for me to be streaming tonight. That's all. All right, I'm gonna end this, fam. I'm gonna delete this broadcast. I want to go in. I can't tell if people in the chat can hear me clearly. Let me see. All right, some of the fam, piece of the fam that's in the building, saying that the sound is low, but as I'm listening to it from the playback from YouTube, piece of the fam that's in the building, saying that the sound is low, but as I'm listening to it from the playback from YouTube, it sounds perfect. So I'm gonna just thug it out for a few minutes. I'm gonna just thug it out for a few minutes. If it gets okay, the video is doing a fast pause, then speed up here and there. I don't know, man. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Close a couple more pages. Maybe it is move. It don't look like it's moving better at all. Let me see. All right, long as y'all can hear me, I'm a talk. Long as y'all can hear me, I can talk. If y'all can't, if the audio is pausing and not just the video, then y'all put in the chat that the audio is pausing as well. So in in this country, especially in these southern states, we're starting to notice the consolidation of power. I want to play a video from Roland Martin. Yeah, I think it's just my PC is acting up right now. Because I was, you're watching YouTube and the next video auto plays. So my next autoplay was Roland Martin live. So let me pull that up. Hopefully it'll play through. Hopefully. Let's share that. And make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button, fam. Like I said, this is the other channel. So, a lot of things look different on this channel than the other channel. And we don't obviously have the traffic on this channel that we have on the other channel. And that's another reason why I want to do this tonight. I want to start getting this channel in rotation and putting it in the algorithm. So hopefully this will play. Let me see. Hopefully. Let's see.
We're seeing this in Mississippi, where they're expanding the police force in Jackson, and it's going to cover the area where most of the white folks live in Jackson, Mississippi. We're seeing these things happen all across this country. And what people have to understand is that the actions that are being undertaken, Reese, These are not just one-offs. These are clear. This is a pattern that the Republican Party has devised. What we are seeing is the rise of the Confederacy in 2023. And Southern Democrats, those racist Southern Democrats, during that period of slavery and Reconstruction, that today is the Republican Party. Period, with a T.
Now, for those of you who have been following the Be the Power YouTube channel, this is something that we have been repeating for the past 3 years, that we are witnessing a rise of the Confederacy. And when you get white supremacy in the United States of America, they legislated it into their laws in the southern states specifically. You have people in the diaspora that talk about global white supremacy, but the white supremacy that we fight is different because it's here, and it's a ruling white supremacy. It's one that governs us. It's not like white supremacy coming into a place where we govern, like the nations of Africa, stealing the resources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So in that, and with that said, state legislatures all across the South are starting to do similar things. They're trying to raise that Confederate flag once again in this country in a way that we haven't seen really since Reconstruction. When they breached the Capitol on January 6th, and we seen that flag wave in the White House. I mean, not in the White House, on Capitol Hill. I knew then that the beginning of the end was going to come a lot sooner than I previously anticipated. In the state of Tennessee, and that's what Roland was talking about. It's a story I haven't necessarily been following it, so I'm not going to front in that regard, but it's been in the news cycle, so I'm aware of it. And, you know, they had one of the reps, I think this was the rep that got kicked out of, expelled from the House. Let me pull up this tweet. He got expelled from the House. Let me see. Let's pull this up. Hopefully y'all will be able to see this. And I wanted to start this live stream off with this because it leads into the second portion of this discussion, fractured freedmen. So Olivia Juliana, I don't know who that is. What the absolute Tennessee legislator has expelled Justin Jones for protesting, but did not expel Gloria Johnson, who was protesting alongside him. So you see the brother there, and you see the white woman there, and they both are holding up their hands. And this Olivia person says, I'll let you figure out what the difference between the two is here. I think there's somebody else that they tried to expel. And that person could have also been a white person. I don't know. But we know that that's what they do. They will expel, they'll kill 10 whites to justify slaughtering 100 blacks, meaning freedmen. We've read that from out of the book, The Bloody Shirt. We've read that from out of Charles Blow's The Devil You Know. We've shown the historical examples of how they will purge the voter rolls. Purge the voter rolls. What's going on, Iron Physique? Said peace to the American Freedman family. Yeah. And we are a fractured lot. We are a fractured lot. While the Confederacy is consolidating. You heard what Roland Martin said. He said, we really haven't seen this since Reconstruction. And I know my video might be off to some of y'all that's just joining. As long as y'all can hear my voice, just bear with me. Just bear with me. As it stands, we are not prepared as a people for anything. We are not prepared to fight. We're not even prepared for the battle. See, in order to engage in the battle, there has to be a strategy. There has to be some form of strategy. These Confederates today, these neo-Confederates today, they've been practicing. That horrible act committed by that devil up in Buffalo was it was like a video game. If those of you who've seen the video, he had like a GoPro cam on his helmet, I believe it was. And he got right out the car. He hit the first sister, boom, boom. He hit the old lady that was either coming out the store, going in. Hit her, boom. He seen everybody in the store. That caliber of round, he knew from the distance where he was standing was going to cut down everybody that he was aiming at. So he hit almost everybody from the outside of the store, went in the store and finished them all. One of those kill shots is stuck in my head because it's an elderly freedman and he's laid out on the floor, and the dude, he just comes in with the AR and he shoots him while he's laid on the floor so that the bullet exits the top part of his head, and the brother's whole body reverberates. His whole body just reverberates. That one is stuck in my head. There was a white man on the floor because he was moving at a fast pace. Kill, 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 kill. And when he came up on the white man, he pointed his gun, and you see the white guy on the floor, he kind of flinched. And then this devil said, "Oh, sorry." And then goes and hunts our freedmen elders down. Oh, sucker stuff. Let me get some shout outs to people that's in here. Of course, shout out to Sister BTP Riri is in the building. Keenan Wright, what's going on? Sister Shanna is in the building. Iron Physique already gave that shout out. Vince Jefferson is plugged in as usual. Wow, Sleep at Omex. Remember, this is the new channel, fam. We're gonna grow this one. We're gonna grow this one. We are gonna grow this one. We're gonna have a lot of changes. We're gonna add some content. We're gonna just try to do segments where we can get certain individuals on the channel and they can talk their talk. They can talk their talk. Matter of fact, let me send out a link real quick. And I'm gonna get back to I could talk through it. So basically, what these people are doing, the Dylan Roofs, I never even remembered this guy's name that did the Buffalo shooting. But they're showing that, look, if in a race war, they're easy pickings. They're easy pickings. I seen a comment made by Brother Wesley Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. You know, we was cool for some years. I don't consider us like not cool. I'm just on a different vibe and different wave right now. And this was during the George Floyd protest. And he put out this comment, and I thought it was cowardly. I would have to scroll through my Facebook feed to pull it up and read it verbatim because I can't remember it, but I remember reposting it and commenting on it. I thought it was cowardly to me. There's a war going on outside, and you have a trained paramilitary. You can't then complain about the BLM people or the LGBTQ people or the whites that's out there protesting, holding up Black Lives Matter signs when you have a small paramilitary unit. Like, that's my critique. And whoever doesn't like it, we could talk about it. So we could start pulling up some show and proves, because I'm gonna go back to Malcolm. After that brother from the Nation of Islam got murdered by them LAPD, and brother Malcolm wanted blood. He was ready to stop at nothing short but blood. Point blank, period. And Elijah Muhammad said no, and Malcolm had to go back in front of the people and say, y'all are lucky that Elijah Muhammad is gracious and merciful. And that he's not calling for. Somebody said they see me on Twitter. Oh, nah. Hold on. They could only see me on Twitter. Because he can't see the BTP Media Group channel. So, peace, brother Jonathan. Shout out to our New England freedmen that's in the building. I see the work y'all putting in out there. Things are moving. Things are moving, and we're gonna make sure that we cross this finish line. We're gonna cross this finish line. So I would pull up Malcolm in that regard, and I would go from there. And that brings me to fractured freedmen, because Yvette Carnell put out a tweet, and she's trying to go at me. And I put up these images, like we're trying to build our little freedmen force, our own paramilitary. Those of us that's not gonna put out excuses when the shit popping. Nah, those of us that's gonna be there when the shit popping, not just shit popping. That a silent brotherhood that's gonna be ready to move with their hands, feet, and whatever tools necessary to hold it down. And she tried to say, see, they were never serious. I want to bring her up specifically. And I know I was told, just stop talking. And I gotta use her as an example right now. And because I don't have to speak about her or none of it, because she's not doing anything for the movement. She's not moving this reparations movement at all. Peace, Sister Antonia. I see you. Boston Freedman up in here. Shout out to the Freedman family all across the country. And those that's still repping Freedman, of course. Shout out to those that still repping Freedman. And I'll get to that. She tried to attack the tweet that I made with, it was a depiction of two brothers in paramilitary garb. We're talking about a mentorship program for young men. And the attack was not that she seen it as something unserious. She knew what it was. Brother Logic was a sergeant in the Army at that time, special operations at that time. So we know what we were building on over here. We know exactly what we were building on. What she was doing was attacking that masculine element of what BTP particularly stands for. That's what she was doing in that moment. She was attacking that because of what she's trying to push. And we've had some shady characters that have tried to center like the LGBTQ movement in this reparation space. Those of us that know, well, we've seen it coming from a mile away. We've had discussions about it, and we just waited for it to happen, and then we shut it down because that's what we're supposed to do. Nothing gets centered in this movement. Nothing or no one individual, no one group gets centered in this movement, but what we're fighting for. And we may have disagreements about how to reach that goal, but nobody's agenda is going to be centered in the movement. It's not going to happen. Not while I'm here and I got a microphone and social media, et cetera, et cetera. So in attacking that, I posted up an image of, I said, these are the males of the ADOS crew. And, you know, it's a little bunch of zesty looking dudes. I'm just going to keep it official with y'all. Just a bunch of zesty cats. And I had to look at that picture and say, if the fight goes down, are these males, because the fight is happening, they're murdering and gunning down freedmen in this country. They're planning more murders and gunning downs, mass shootings of our people. Are these the males that we're going to rely on? Is the woman king going to pop up out of the trees of Georgia swinging a machete? Does she know how to handle an AR-15? Does she know how to strip a pistol? I don't know, but I don't think so. If I had to guess, I don't think so. And judging by the males that she has with her, I don't think that they do either. You know. Yeah, Ibrahim, I remember that. You know, there's a lot of funny stuff. Shout out to Way Too Major. What's going on, fam? And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. It's not just rambling and like my brother Logic would say all the time that politics is war without the bloodshed. That's a fact. The problem is that the politics that we are experiencing right now is leading to bloodshed. Sister Antonia said they are all definitely so. Yeah, you know the Cambridge Care Bear, brother Reggie, the Narcan and Cobra guy up there. He saved from Boston. But anyway, what they're doing is leading the politics of the white politician in America, specifically the Anglo-Saxon politician of the South. You have to make a distinction there. And over the next few months, we're going to be putting some powerful information out in that regard, speaking to these things. And you have in BTP a group of men that's about the shits. It's like it is what it is. And the purpose for attacking that was to try to lessen the masculinity, right? She used to be like them chest beating, and I used to just put up images of apes beating their chests all the time. That's right. Like we wear it. We wear it, you know. There is a race within the race. And right now, that race is what's happening at the OMB. And this is why we're seeing the uptick in Yvette Carnell's attacks on me and BTP and because of that race, that race within the race. So you have people that some of this stuff I'm gonna be indirect on. Those that's in the inner circle gonna know who exactly I'm talking about. Some of this stuff I'm gonna be direct on. So just bear with me. Yvette Carnell knows that she can't mess with us at all. She can't. There's nothing that they have with their foundation that could stand next to what we're doing with the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Their information is not on point. Errol Hairston Bay, peace, brother, man. I see you, Prime. Their information is not on point. That's why they're lying at the OMB. That's why I threw this picture up tonight. I wanted the colored troops to be flanking me while I do this, right? The spirit of the colored troops, as they were called, to flank me while I do tonight's live stream. Because these are freedmen right here behind me that you see pictured. Abraham Lincoln said, if not for the black freedmen, the war against the South would surely be lost. And we watched the ADOS cult basically diss the freedmen because they want the thing at the OMB to be pushed so bad. We watched Tariq Nasheed and his FBA cult do the same exact thing. It's like, well, we got a problem with Naheem. I really don't like that Naheem dude anyway. So I'm going to just attack the term freedman after I just said 2 weeks ago that the term freedman, we should use it in a legal sense and use that, his brand name, in some other sense. And then after that, just like the ADOS cult, we watched the FBA cult attack and attack and attack dudes with fake Black Power 70s voices holding Twitter spaces, trying to come at me. These soft-looking dudes. You see them on their YouTube channel, and men size men up because that's just how we are. Especially when you grow up in the hood, you grow up fighting. Men always sizing men up. Like, it is what it is. Like, I tell a story all the time. One of the brothers that we was going back and forth on Twitter, and he seen me in DC, and he slid up on me, and he was like, I know we was talking some junk in person. He said, but now that I'm up on you, I could see you could probably handle yourself. I said, yeah, I could slide in these cold hands real nice. Like I could slide in these cold hands. So, that's just how men are. That's just how men are. And so, I'm looking at some of these cats that talk reckless in the Twitter spaces, and I'm like, you know what, man? Don't waste your time going back and forth with these guys, because if you seen them in person, they wouldn't have the same energy. They would not have the same energy. It's like Reggie, the Cambridge Care Bear that says he's from Boston. He was saying why I see your comment, Ali. That's my purpose for doing this tonight. I'm talking some talk tonight and get this channel flowing so we can move into these topics, because we got to talk about fractured freedmen, because there was a time when this thing wasn't fractured. There was a time when everybody was together. We was all rocking together, and everybody was hitting on the same cylinders moving forward. And we watched that thing crumble. And that's why I'm bringing these people up. That's why I'm bringing them up. That's why I'm naming names tonight. So forgive me, bro. Forgive me, but that's a part of what this thing is about, fractured freedmen. Because while the Confederacy is resurging. We got a bunch of BS going on in a burgeoning political movement whose focus should be on legislation and policy, not entertainment and clubs and all this other shit. Not trying to one up people at the OMB, or not trying to at the 12th hour turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to stop using American freedmen and I'm going to push African American. Like, nah. Because now there's just fractures within fractures within fractures within fractures. And those of us that's looking at this thing, we got to look at it and say, we are, all of us, collectively, the only ones capable of pushing this particular ball across the finish line or getting it into the end zone. All of us. All of us. I could get back to Reggie a little bit later. But he was trying to make it seem like I was scared to show up, you know, at some meeting because they was up there 13, 14 deep. I had to work that day. Because if I didn't, I would have been there. And what would they have done to me? I mean, they would have opened up their shirts and did the Care Bears shoot the rainbows at me? What would they have done to me? Nothing. Nothing at all. So, I mean, anyway, so when we look at this fractured thing and we are watching white supremacists, right? Let me pull this comment up. This is from, y'all know this racist Charlie Kirk. Let's pull this up. Yeah, Sister Riri. What were they gonna do? Do the windmill on? They was gonna do the windmill on me? All right, why can I not? I'd have ran through all 13 of them. 14, 15, however many of them it was, by myself. Like, I'm scared of a bunch of people that roll with Yvette Carnell. That's funny. Charlie Kirk, he said, what happened to white actors in commercials? They've completely disappeared unless they're portraying ridiculous caricatures of whiteness or incompetence. Where's my book that I always read from White by Law? Is it on my desk? No, it's not on my desk. Wait, is this it? Nope. Man, I was going to read something. I just got this mic to stay situated. Something wrong with my mic arm, and now it's moving again. There you go. I hope y'all can still hear me. Let me. That's right, Sister Antonia. These people is crazy. So Charlie Kirk said, what happened to white actors in commercials? They've completely disappeared unless they're portraying ridiculous caricatures of whiteness or incompetence. So some brother commented, sucks to be portrayed in stereotypes, don't it? Now, we know that this is not happening. This is a lie. These neo-Confederates, they wake up and invent stuff to tweet out, to keep their base riled up. The Dilbert cartoonist guy, he did the same thing, talking about moving away from black people because, you know, you see the videos, whites, they just keep getting their ass kicked by all these black folks. No, you're missing the part where they're starting shit and then they're getting their asses kicked. You're missing that part. Missing that part. And so we see these dog whistles. Douglas K. Murray wrote that article about, in the New York Post, about reparations being revenged. We cooked that whole article on that Twitter space. And of course, that coward didn't show up. And that was a full space that day. We had a lot of people in that space. I think that was my most listened to space. I know the last time I looked at it, it had like over 10,000 listens, maybe 12,000. And that was a couple months ago. when I looked at it. So we get the Buffalo shooter, and he has written on his gun, "Here's your reparations." Peace to the OG Otis in the building. What's going on? Here's your reparations. I didn't think that was a coincidence. And you have the Confederates all over the country, going at reparations. There's a twofold strategy here. One is they really don't want us to have anything. They need to feel superior. And how they've been able to do that in this country is by having control of the financial institutions, the housing institutions, and the government. That's why we proposed the Black South strategy. And I'm calling it the Freedman South strategy, the back home strategy. Remember, Yvette Carnell and her crew shot at that only because we were promoting it. You ask any of them, how do you get our people across the finish line politically without having a super majority in any of these southern states? You go ask them that, and they have no answers. They have no answers. We start talking a whole bunch of nonsense, right? Fractured freedmen. While the Confederacy is right. I want to play that video again. I want to play because this video, it comes from Roland Martin. Got a bunch of new people in now. I was watching the video, and as that video ended, my autoplay came on, and Roland was live talking about the situation in Tennessee where these Confederates expelled this brother, and they didn't expel the white women that protested with him. They're going to protect their people. And if they do get rid of another white person, that's just to say, no, it wasn't racial and it wasn't racist, because that's how they've been accustomed to doing things in this country for a very long time. So let me play this clip by Roland Martin.
Seeing this in Mississippi, where they're expanding the police force in Jackson, and it's going to cover the area where most of the white folks live in Jackson, Mississippi. We're seeing these things happen all across this country. And what people have to understand is that the actions that are being undertaken, Reese, these are not just one-offs. These are clear. This is a pattern that the Republican Party has devised. What we are seeing is the rise of the Confederacy in 2023. And Southern Democrats, those racist Southern Democrats, during that period of slavery and Reconstruction, that today is the Republican Party. Period, with the T.
So everything that Roland said in that clip, was said verbatim by us on BTP over the past several years. Verbatim. Peace to Ashura Speaks. Verbatim. We said it. People like Roland tried to drown us out. Those people that sit on his panel, Greg Carr, and all of those, they tried to drown us out because they are pushing something specific that aligns with the Democratic Party's wing of white supremacy. Ibrahim said, except for period with a T. You know, I can't see if you got a wrench on this channel, Ibrahim, right now. Let me see. I did not. Oh, about to say. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Nah. All right. So we've been saying that. On this particular channel, we did a 3-part series about terrorism in the South. When Roland brings up the Reconstruction era, he's bringing up the freedmen. Our issues are so cobbled together with everybody else's that the Confederates, the neo-Confederates, they know how to play on that to keep the freedmen in a position that they've always wanted to keep us in, a state of pure inferiority. They introduce a black curriculum in Florida and they lace it with some LGBTQ stuff, which gives the governor the reason to throw the whole thing away. These things, they don't mesh with our history. They don't mesh with our history. This stuff has to be discarded. But we, who are supposed to be in the reparations grassroots, fighting for reparations, starting in our locales, are supposed to be doing is banding together so that we could eliminate this threat by growing our influence, going into the streets of South Carolina, Alabama, of course, the streets where you are, of course, but in them streets where you are, I'm already in Georgia. I've been in the streets out here, and that's a fact. That's a fact. I've been in the tent cities giving out food, and I'm about to do some more stuff out here pretty soon that I'm not going to announce. I'm not announcing stuff anymore. Y'all will see the pictures on the website in our newsletter. Go to usadof.org. If you like what you're hearing, support the platform. You can make a donation through the website. We are a legitimate 501c3, the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. If you would like to support the channel right now, Cash App Be the Power, or use that super chat, fam. I know my brother Ali, he upset with me for calling names tonight, but it's cool. It's cool. I understand. I wanted to set this thing in a direction as we move forward and new blood gets introduced into this movement. Some people need to know who is who so that they don't get caught up. They don't get caught up because I be having people that hit me up like, yo, you know this person? Yo, you cool with this person? You right. And I got to say most of the time, nah, snake. That's a snake. Devil. That's a devil. Right? So there is new blood coming into this movement. There's new blood coming into this movement. And a lot of these people that's coming in are very sharp, very, very, very sharp individuals, very sharp. And when we look at the situation with Gabe in Chicago, right? He's running for the 5th ward seat in Chicago. He has a vision. I looked at these other people's websites. I looked at their plans. It was weak, watered down, cookie cutter nonsense that we're used to seeing from political candidates on political candidates' platforms. If Gabe's platform was like that, I wouldn't sit here and tell you that it was. I probably wouldn't have spoken on it. Right? Because that's somebody that we're supporting and was supporting in that run. I wouldn't have said nothing. But I went through each point of what he visualized for the 5th Ward of Chicago. And what I saw past what he had in his platform, I wonder if Paul Sowers is going to run for anything. The attack poodle. I wonder if he's going to run for anything. I saw how that, if he had won and was able to implement his program, how that would have impacted the greater Chicago, because he had Friedman in his corner. Brother, shout out to brother Marlon Watson, man, and shout out to the Chicago Freedmen. He had Friedman in his corner advising him. And we watched I call them Follow and Swallow 2.0, the FBA cult online, band together. They brought on the opponents of Gabe. They used the race thing. It wasn't racial. It was us. Because they have taken this thing as a competition. It's like, oh, I got to impress my internet daddy. I could get a shout out. Maybe I could get a plaque on the wall at the Hidden Museum. Let me do my best. We just gonna keep riding on BTP and anything that they're doing and they're about. The meantime, we in the background drafting legislation. Oh, I could pull some stuff up. Some of this legislation we shared with people that we thought was fan. They turned around and stabbed us in the back. Stabbed us right in the back. I was in a Twitter space, Sister Raw's Twitter space, and out of nowhere, this gelatinous dude just started coming at my neck. Naheem, you're an agent. You're a YouTuber. You're trying to be like Yvette and Tone. Like, really? I got 35 live viewers watching right now. Really? I'm that popular? Nah, it's just, it's just the way, I ain't gonna say all of y'all been feeling, just the way some of y'all been feeling. That's all. And y'all knew that y'all was gonna go in a different direction from what we were doing with this American Freedman thing. And instead of us, sitting down at the table and saying, look, this language on this thing is fucked up. So we gotta, kind of we come into y'all and letting y'all know the direction we gotta. Me personally, I'd have been like, yo, I'm cool with that. Because I don't do sucker shit, fam. I don't do sucker shit at all. At all. Fractured Freedman. That's the second part of the title of this live stream. I know I have some people watching right now, and I want to set some boundaries between those of us that's really about this work and those of us who are not, and those of us who are about the work, but only for what they're trying to do and elevating themselves. Y'all know I'm talking about y'all. Y'all know that. Y'all listening. Y'all know I'm talking about y'all. I don't do sucker shit, fam. I just don't. So how do we then move forward? Because reparations is on the tongues of all of these fractured freedmen, whether they call themselves FBA, ADOS, the New American Negro. I ain't even the pretendians and the so-called Negroes. They're not worth mentioning, really. They're just not. Well, okay, I'll say at the OMB, peace, Sister Satra Delry, sit there and you listen to the live call-in, and these people made an absolute mockery. They made a mockery out of this process. But one thing was clear: FBA, ADOS, Pretendians, and Negroes, the new Negroes, were all against the American freedmen. All of them. Every last one of them. So I didn't get mad or upset. I became more situated in the fact that I know that what we have is powerful because all of them are attacking it. And these people are dishonorable people. And they will cut off their noses to spite their own faces and spit in the faces and on the graves of our ancestors, all for their personal self-gratification. You had a lot of people calling in. It's this one chick that I won't call any of their names. She literally was on Twitter and said, these people talking about freedmen, this is how crazy this is. I'm going to pull up the freedmen in my family. Wait a minute. Literally screen recorded herself finding two of her family members on the freedmen's records rolls, then called into the OMB and straight dissed the freedmen. The name freedmen, which really is a diss to all of us. Like, wow. Wow. It makes you wonder. On the one hand, is somebody paying people to do this type of stuff? Is there a hidden hand really guiding these motives? Sister Riri says some folks got to go, bro. I agree. I agree. And I'm starting to think that. I'm really starting to think. I try, y'all hear us a lot. And one thing you never hear, particularly from me, you don't hear that from any of the other crew, is us get into conspiracy theories, right? This person or this person is with them boys and they must be the Fed. We don't get into that. Do we speculate among ourselves? Of course we do. Of course we do. Absolutely. But when we analyze what they're doing in a space where we got momentum moving, something is not right. Peace, Sister Fate XX. Something is off. Something is really, really, really off about this whole thing. Because everybody that called in was against the freedmen. Contrast, the MENA group, Middle Eastern North African. All of them were on one accord. I don't use that term on code. That term is bogus to me because the code is only, the code goes by whoever says the code is. So if a person says, oh, that person ain't on code, then everybody else says that person is not on code. Then I'm like, well, then what's the code? Because who could ever say BTP is off code? And if you say that, I'll drop a link for you to come prove it. We was on the Twitter Spaces and we asked people to simply come show and prove. They would never do it. They just made excuses and posted comments in the Twitter section. Moving forward, family, and it's a reason why I got into all of this. Moving forward, me personally, I'm not going to be engaging in these people. Oh, yes, indeed, Sister Fate XX. Dissing freedmen was most likely in the hashtag training. But let me tell y'all, we are honoring our ancestors. So the blessings is coming to us. The blessings is coming to us. And it's coming to us not in the form of money. The other people, they the ones getting the money. And they keeping them sources to themselves. They like, we can't share. No, we ain't sharing this out. You know, we gotta plant our flag at the top of the hill. We ain't gonna share this out. They're coming in the form of revelations. Each week, we're uncovering something new. Each week, some new move is being made that a lot of people are unaware of. While these people are training people how to diss our ancestral name, how to diss the name that we earned, family. We earned this name. What's going on, Brother Ali? We earned this name.
What's good? You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I
Like,
mean, they dissing their ancestors. When you mentioned the person who found her great grands or whatever they were in the Freedmen's records, it really was a demonstration in exactly what we said. Like, you are dishonoring and disrespecting your own family members. You can't sit there and pull up actual records from the database about your family and then turn around and shit on their name. Like, that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. You're shitting on their name. You're shitting on the great and magnanimous work they did in order to get to the point where you are able to sit up here as a free citizen of the United States. It's because of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because of them and their perseverance and their strength. And you're gonna turn around and shit on them because you don't like Naheem or that's craziness, man.
And that's why I wanted to call some names tonight, bro. I know we had an agreement, but I had a specific agenda tonight because we moving forward, right? And Yvette Carnell made a post that said that Eric Foner's book on Reconstruction was better than W.E.B. Du Bois. Now, that may be true. I've started on W.E.B. Du Bois's book. It's a big book. It's a big book. I've not finished it. I've started on Eric Foner's Reconstruction book, which is equally big, right? But I have other books of Foner's that I've completed that I'm on my second go through, which is the second founding. All of you who are serious about this work, get Eric Foner's book, The Second Founding. Now, there's a reason why I bring up Eric Foner. In that book, The Second Founding, he has a whole chapter called Justice and Jurisprudence. Where did he get that from? He got that from a group of freedmen, family. Y'all know when I'm gonna pull up this image. It's my background image that I usually have. Let me see if I can pull this up.
You have one of that organization?
No. But these are the people who are in this celebration of the 15th Amendment. So, is this one cut off?
I'm gonna try to find it because there
I
is
need the date. I just need the date. This one, I don't know. I didn't know I had it cut off. I must have two of them. But I'm gonna show it to the fam. Let me show this to the fam. Y'all see me put this image up all the time. And it's about the passing of the 15th Amendment. It's a celebration that's happening where? It is happening in Baltimore, Maryland. Sleeping Olmec said, I listened to Fona's reconstruction book on Audible. A lot of information, very insightful. Yes, that joint is just hours. And I'm going to get back to it after I finish doing, because I'm doing a run through Stephanie Kelton's book. Man, I got a lot of books. I just earned a bunch of badges on my Audible and my Kindle and all of that stuff. So I'm going to get to that reconstruction book but what I wanted was from out of that reconstruction book, outside of the history, is the legislative element, which is what Foner lays out expertly in the second founding. And he says, I don't understand why civil rights leaders and activists are not using the Reconstruction Amendments today. Now, we were saying this before we ever even came. I ain't going to say we didn't hear of Eric Foner, but before we even read any of his books, we were saying that 2 years ago. Why is me pulling this up important? Baltimore, right? Oh, it's right there, the date. Celebration of the 15th Amendment, May 19th, 1870. In 1889.
Are you sharing the image? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, it's up.
I don't see it.
You can't see it up?
No, maybe, you know what? I think my screen might be frozen. Maybe. I'm not sure. What about the people in the audience? Can they see
fam, can y'all see the image in the chat that I'm sharing? This powerful, powerful image right here. Yeah, they see it. These brothers with these fezzes on. Remember they was trying to get on us about the fezzes? The soft dude Reggie, the Cambridge Care Bear. He always bring up Fez. He called me Fez something. These brothers behind them in the top hats are the Odd Fellows. Like, before I move on, let's break this down a little bit. Hold on. Just a little bit. You got the sisters up here, the freed women, right? In their glory. And our job, we feel, as the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, and we just added a few sisters to our board. I'll share that. That announcement will be coming soon. All right, let me bring Ali back in. We got to get our daughters. We got to get our daughters back on the level.
See them feathers there.
That's right.
And look at the one up in the right-hand corner of that lithograph.
That's right. Let's go to the right-hand corner of this lithograph. You see it. You see them. You see Martin Delaney depicted there, and you see freedmen in fezzes, and you see a white man holding back other white men who are protesting the fact that they are in the army in the first place. This lithograph right here is powerful. This is a sigil for those of you who understand the esoteric. This is a sigil right here. And this is why you see it in the background when I was doing my live streams. And I just switched it to the other founding fathers. Now, these brothers right here in the top hats, these were the Odd Fellows. This was the dominant secret society at that time, more so than Freemasonry. Freemasonry was still kind of novel in the country nationwide, but it was the Odd Fellows that was the secret society to be in at that time. Peace, brother L.D. Ward, brother Fairness. This is what these brothers represent. This is what we're trying to resurrect, family. Yvette Carnell at ADOS. Tariq, now she said that white people could claim to be descendants of freedmen. No, they can't. Not what we're talking about. You can't, because if that's the case, they can claim to be the descendants of black people or foundational black Americans. I did a whole Twitter space on that, deconstructing that lie. I deconstructed it. And I'm gonna download it and throw it up on the other channel. So y'all make sure y'all look out for that, because we're not letting no lies stand. This is for our answer. Every movement I ever been in, it was about fighting in the now by standing on the legacy of our ancestors. That's why we came into this space with this knowledge already. We came into this space with this knowledge already because
Yeah,
we were
like
about.
let's be honest, right?
Mhm.
Let's be honest with the knowledge, having the knowledge of this stuff already. The OMB, what they're calling a special policy directive
Mhm.
15, we knew as Federal Directive 15 because we have been dealing with that thing since at least 2011,
At least.
teaching about it, speaking on it at least 2011, long before there was an ADOS movement or any of these people got wind of what the OMB was and what their function was. Long before that, I showed an email to Brother Divine of me talking to my mom in 2011
That's
about
right.
Federal Directive 15 and those racial classifications. So, that stuff, um, these lithographs, a lot of this stuff about the Reconstruction period, the importance of the Reconstruction Amendment, the 1866 Civil Rights Act, long before Byron Allen came out with that, we had already been breaking that stuff down, speaking on that stuff for a number of
Ali,
years.
let me say, Ali went back and found it was my posts that he found, and then it was my post first on my
Mm-hmm.
Facebook wall when breaking down the 1866 Civil Rights Act. I mean, how many years ago was that, bro? 2013, 2014. You know, we
Somewhere
not
back.
new to this, family. The MD 2020, shout out to the MD 2020, powerful. Where can I find this image? Pull up 15th Amendment lithograph. Type up 15th Amendment lithograph. Before you go in, Ali, I just want to explain this last part of this lithograph, these
Mm-hmm.
people that's in the center of it. And these are the soldiers, the Union soldiers behind the art. Like, we got to get back into this. This is what, when I put those images out of those brothers depicted in those Union uniforms, because we're trying to build up a mentorship program for our young men using military discipline. We're trying to get them to get back into this frame of thinking. We're trying to get them to get back in this frame of thinking, family. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Ali.
And don't forget about the Knights of Liberty, right?
Oh,
Many
oh,
of these Union soldiers,
that's right. These brothers right here. Go in, bro.
many of these Union soldiers were actually men who have been training for combat as members of this order called the Knights of Liberty. We talked about that. Thanks to Brother Grimm
That's
enlightened
right.
us to a lot of that stuff.
That's right. Moses Dixon.
Moses Dixon.
Now wait, let me just jump in real quick. Grimm was trying to get me to read this book for years. I was so busy with all of my other stuff that I could never get into it. The 2021 summer, I'm handing out the flyers for our reparations rally that we held in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, these people be talking about, we held the first ever who, the what, the who? Like, we got pictures, fam. Stop it. And then there was another one with reparationists that was held in February of, I think, 2020. Just stop it. Stop it. But I'm handing out the flyers. I go to get in my car, and a voice, I kid y'all not, family, says, tell Grimm to send you the link to that book he been trying to send you for years. I kid you not. In doing so, Grimm sends me the link. I gets into it. I'm like, holy, Stu Moses Dixon was a bet. So I'm telling Logic. Logic not really interested at first. So then I start breaking down what Moses Dixon was doing with the Knights of Liberty and his claim that he trained, I think, 40,000 men and they had an oath. This dude was, the Odd Fellows is a white secret society. Moses Dixon started the first black secret society on this continent. The what is it called? The Order of the 12 Knights of Tabor, I believe it's called. I could be
Yeah,
butchering that, but it's something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
yeah. And there's an article. There was an interview that Moses Dixon did, um, and he talked about there was supposed to be a meeting in, I think, Atlanta. A bunch of the members of the Knights of Liberty were supposed to meet in Atlanta, and he said they expected at least 200,000 men. They expected at least 200,000 men to converge on Atlanta, and they was going to proceed to whooping whooping ass, because the idea of the Knights of Liberty was to actually attempt to overthrow the government. And they were Moses Dixon was actually in cahoots with John Brown. And the reason that John Brown was unsuccessful was because Moses Dixon uh, had decided that it wasn't the right time to make the maneuver against the United States. And he tried to get John Brown to stand down. John Brown didn't want to.
John Brown is a rider. I got him up on the screen because I knew where you was going with the story. He right there.
Right, right. So Moses Dixon tried to get John Brown to stand down. He was like, this ain't, whatever the reason. I don't remember the reason, but he was like, this is not the right time. Let's fall back and wait until another time. John Brown was like, nah, I'm still gonna go up to what was the place he went to?
Harper's Ferry.
Harper's Ferry, and
They
I'm
have
gonna
no
wait.
men.
He didn't have no men. Nobody showed up. I think Frederick Douglass tried to get him to stand down too.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to do it.
And I seen one where they said Harriet Tubman also tried to get him to stand down.
John Brown was a rider. He was about it, man. But he went down. He went down with the ship.
John Brown was a rider. And you right, he
But
went down with the ship. They'll be like, he's a rider.
Now, the reason I brought up the 200,000 that Moses Dixon talked about, and because that number was a significant number and it stuck out to me. Because when you look at all of the archives about how many quote unquote colored troops fought on behalf of the Union during the Civil War, the number that they tell you is about 200,000, and that these men fought valiantly. But here's the trick. Moses Dixon said they had been training before the Civil War happened. These men had been training, and he had expected about 200,000. That same number.
That's right.
That same number that shows up in the actual Union military as colored troops. He expected that many men to converge on Atlanta as they began to move, against the United States. So what my conclusion is, and this is just an assumption because I'm just using the same numbers in the timeline of events. My assumption is that those particular colored troops, many of them were probably members of the Knights of Liberty.
That's right. That's right. People don't like our story here is deep and it's untold. And it's like Way Too Major said, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Reconstruction history is the real hidden history. He said Reconstruction history is hidden like ancient Egyptian history. Because how many people just in here listening heard of Moses Dixon, outside of us bringing it up on BTP, but for those new listeners, and knew that he trained that many men. They've been training, that they had a plot to take over the government. He went to John Brown. Him and John Brown had a meeting, and he said that God told him that the time was not right. It wasn't right. But John Brown was, man, like Malcolm said, when he was asked about the meeting of the African Union, and the reporter said, Malcolm, will any white men be there? He said, no, will any white men be invited? He said, well, if John Brown was still living, right? This is how much respect those of us that's in the know have for this white American right here, John Brown. And when I give honors to my freedmen ancestors, I also give honors to John Brown because he fought. And I've read his book. If you've not read a book on John Brown, you can't even talk. Don't talk to me about nothing. Don't try to, they with the white man and y'all don't talk to me. You're ignorant. And you're doing what white supremacists try to do to us. So, man, this is our history.
You know what? I appreciate what Way Too Major says about Reconstruction history is the real hidden history. It's like ancient Egyptian history. Now, I appreciate that so much, and I never thought about that, man. But that is a profound statement because most historians, right? Most historians that know about Reconstruction will tell you that Reconstruction is, in fact, a hidden portion of American history that, for whatever reason, gets left out of the history curriculums in schools, and you know, it's just not taught to the American people. We're not even just talking about to Black folks. It ain't taught to the American people, period. And it's such a significant portion of American history because, like Fona calls it, the second founding is really, really significant in terms of the restructuring of the government, in terms of trying to put the freedmen families on some kind of footing of actual citizenship in this country. All that stuff is very, 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 very significant, very important. And so, you'll hear us talking about the Reconstruction Amendments all the time. Like Naeem said, we came into this space talking about the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments. We came into this space talking about Black people were citizens from day one and proceeding to try to prove that point by way of history and law. We come into the space, speaking on the significance of not just the Reconstruction Amendments, but them laws too. The 1866 Civil Rights Act, the 1870 and 71 Civil Rights Acts, the 1875 Civil Rights Act. All of these things are very important.
Acts, right? The Ku Klux Klan acts. We came in talking about all of this stuff, man.
Yeah, you didn't get that from ADOS, right? Like ADOS thing was going at immigrants and talking about, data as it was laid out by various authors, right? Various authors and economists. That was their thing. Oh, the data says this, right? You're a bottom caste, and this percent of the people own this percent of the wealth. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, it was that, right? And I'm like, okay, that was important information too, right? Because people weren't really considering a lot of that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, once it's out there, it's out there. So now we have it. It's like, okay, yeah, we're a bottom caste. I get it, right? We 14% of the population, but only have 2% of the wealth, or whatever the fuck the number is, right? I don't care what the number is, because either way, it doesn't help us, right? Whatever it is, right. It ain't help. So wealth has been what the dude used to say. Wealth has been what's the word he used to say, man? Not hardened.
Calcified was one.
Yeah.
Right. The calcification of wealth.
The calcification of wealth. The decadent veil.
My man must have was a failed rapper or movie star or something, man. The way he be attacking celebrities is just like,
he put something out today talking about celebrities have been relevant for too long. No, they're relevant because they do stuff that the population likes, man. They're entertainers, man, and people. There's no society that's gonna rock out without entertainment. Now I know that he's a cornball and he don't do shit.
He's a corny
and
dude.
he not no fly nigga like that. So when fly dudes do shit, you gotta fall back, man, and let fly dudes do what they do. So when they making them hot records that people want to party to, you know what I mean? You fall back and do that corny shit, do that calcification shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Everybody got
the baked in wealth.
Yeah, all of that. That baked in shit. You know what I'm saying?
We talk about that sucker Antonio Moore. That's another name I gotta call. We talk about Antonio Moore.
The
Like these people,
calcification.
yeah,
It's hardened. It's hardened at the top, and it's
we're a
hardened.
contagion. We're
Yeah.
contagions.
We're a
That's the other
contagion to wealth.
contagions to
Contagion to
wealth.
wealth.
You look back on that stuff, it was wash, rinse, repeat. There was no elevation of the information. And that's why to this day he's still talking about the same exact thing, while we have broached many, many different topics. And we've shown how the political climate today starts with them not checking these bastards during this time. The Confederacy shouldn't have never gotten off with the hand slap that they got off with. They should have been hanged by the neck until their necks snapped.
Right.
The Confederacy should have been crushed. Those flags burned, only to be seen as remnants in picture books that we still have today. Statues shouldn't have never been erected of these seditionist rebel criminals against this country, because now their descendants have switched parties. And now they are gerrymandering maps to maintain political power in states. They are taking federal money that's supposed to go to the state's poor, right? Welfare queen. Remember Ronald Reagan with the welfare queen? They giving the poor people's money to a man that already has millions because he's a white right-winger. This is what we're dealing with. So that piece where you see me pull up of Charlie Kirk talking about white people are caricatures in commercials, that's all lies. That's all lies. All lies.
I don't even know what he's talking about. What I'm trying to think of an example of what is he
they
talking
just
about?
make it up. They're making it up. And this is what they did back in those days. Birth of a Nation. What was it about? The Negro, if he's free to roam the land, he's going to stick his long penis in our fragile little white women. And she might actually like it. So we got to make sure we keep these niggers in check and kill them all where they stand. Like, let's just keep it official. Let's keep it official. Negro rule. Negro rule. We're like, so what does that mean? They showed the image of the scary bat guy that looked like Blackula, right? Back in the 1800s with the fusion box ballot flying over the town and the white women and children are running, as if, quote unquote, Negro rule would bring about domestic terrorism. But we had places like Wilmington, Delaware. We had places like Tulsa.
Wilmington,
North Carolina. Well, Tulsa came later. I'm not gonna use Tulsa right now. But we had those places, and they went and they burnt those places down. They burnt those places down. They were the scary bat guy with the wings that said Negro rule. They committed the acts of terror and then turned around and said it was us. Like, this was the topic today, family. This was the topic today. And I wanted to make sure that we got into this because we're supposed to be moving together. Like, I put my love on my sleeve. If I'm riding with you, I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you 100%. You cross me, I can't fuck with you no more. Point blank, period. It's a wrap. Now you on your own. You lost the asset and the ally in this fight. We generals over here. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep building. Behind the scenes, quiet until it's time. Yeah, you see me in the newspaper because we're pushing for this OMB thing. Every black person, quote unquote black person in this country doesn't know what's happening at the OMB. But
most black people don't.
Most, right? Most, let me say that's
most
right.
Don't.
Most don't. But because you see what we did, we were contacted by the Associated Press. It's like, we would like to interview you about the comment that you made in the OMB. Honors for the contribution, brother, way too major. We would like to interview you for that comment. And we made the Associated Press. We made Huffington Post. We made the griot. I think the root. It was another one. I didn't. You didn't see us going out there bragging. I didn't put that in my Twitter profile, although I might. I might. I'm just saying. I might. But I didn't go out there bragging. I'm like, that's the tip of the iceberg. The work is now making sure that American freedmen is the ethnic identifier for our people and making sure that in doing this, we're doing it right, we're using the right language, etc., etc., etc.
Man, we are so rooted and so grounded and rooted in this reconstruction thing. The same, like it's so funny because when you listen to the Roland Martin clip, he's talking about what we're looking at is a rise of the Confederacy. The crazy thing that it made me think about is what Lincoln said. If it was not for the black freedmen, this war against the South surely would not have been won. So my thing is, they're going back to a certain position. We need to be of the same consciousness as those people who whooped their ass back in the 1860s.
That's right.
We need to be back in that same energy, back in that same consciousness, back in that same headspace, that same frame of mind of our ancestors who whooped their ass, that the ones that Lincoln was saying, if it wasn't for them, this we would have lost this shit. We're so rooted in this shit that and unwavering and unafraid. A lot of people are afraid and confused. So they wavering and they're pivoting and they're moving off of their square. We're standing on the square like we can't. First of all, man, standing on the square is something that we been knew about, right? That's part
right.
of the doctrine that we came from.
That's
standing
right.
on that square.
That's right. Because we be hearing homegirl, we be hearing the woman king say that. Stand on your square, fam. Stand on. I've been saying that. I was born a 5%er. I've been saying that since I was 6, 7 years old.
You gotta stand what you know to be the truth. You stand on it. You don't get scared and you start running and shifting.
That's right.
If you know what you're doing is right, you stand on the truth.
Peace,
you stand on
Josh.
the truth.
Shout out to BTP Josh real quick.
Peace. Our ancestors stood on what they knew to be the light and the truth. Right? This is the light and the truth. That's what I was saying before. What we're dealing with is a matter of light and truth versus darkness and ignorance. And if you got the light and the truth, you stand with that. You stand with that in the face of everything. It doesn't matter what any of these other groups are saying on Twitter. It doesn't matter what you think some white people are going to say or how you think they're going to try to challenge this and that. It doesn't matter because you already know, as sure as the day is long, that they're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge what's being done in California.
That's a fact.
Don't think that you're getting through that unscathed. They're going to challenge it. And it ain't going to just be white people. It's going to be Asian people. It's going to be Hispanic people. You're getting challenged. And like I said, in one of the signal inboxes that we were in with a bunch of people, I said, I hope people don't think that we're getting to reparations without some violence.
There will be blood.
There's never been any significant advance in this country on our behalf that did not include violence and bloodshed. Not a single instance. So if you think you're going to get the federal government, the state governments, the local governments to start issuing checks to you without niggas getting shot up like they did in Buffalo, New York, without it getting violent, you crazy. You crazy. Right. There's no way to reparations without violence. It ain't going to happen.
My man already set it off. He already set it off. Here's your reparations, where we will kill all of you first.
They'd rather see you dead than to begin. Even though the federal government just handed out stimulus checks.
That's right.
That black people got, the same black people that they don't want to have anything, Black people got them stimulus checks, both rounds of it, or however many rounds it was, 2, 3, however many it was. You got the unemployment. You got the extra unemployment from the federal government. You was able to access the PPP. You see, so it's an insanity. It's like a sickness that they have, that where if it's about you in particular, your particular group, you try to get something out of this government specifically for your group, oh man, it's gonna be hell to pay.
That's right.
It's gonna be hell to pay.
And you're gonna have a tough set of balls to walk up in. You know, people try to paint BTP as too aggressive and too brutal. Remember the first fallout with ADOS, there was a sister that was in their inner circle, and she told me that Yvette was telling people, you know, oh, you don't want to mess with them. Those are the type of dudes that'll show up at your door. Now, this is why they was shouting us out. They were in
Now,
their back
but
channels.
see,
This is what they were saying.
there was a point I'm trying to get to with what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That paramilitary piece you mentioned about trying to get a Freedmen Auxiliary thing going, the same thing that we talked about with the FOI,
mm-hmm.
the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, the Deacons for Defense, um, um, the Knights of Liberty, the colored troops in the union. Like the point is that if you are seriously considering this reparations thing to be a reality for our people, you're going to have to understand that you're not getting there without violence, and that going back into the state of mind of these people who were warriors, who were fighters, is something that you're going to have to do. And I don't mean sitting around on Twitter, having Twitter spaces, doxing people, you know, sending threatening messages, talking about raping Black women, right? Like some of these dudes are doing, you know, threatening to rape people. You know, damn, there was a Twitter space with one of these guys. I don't know if it was one of the Pretendians or the Neo Negroes or whoever. One of them was talking about the freedmen needs to be done in the backside. You remember that one? Remember that one?
Oh,
They need to be effed in the
effed in the ass. That's what he said. It's
like yeah, this is some sick stuff. So my thing is like, don't think that that's warriorism. That's not warriorism.
That's right.
That's insanity. That's sickness. That's sickness. When it comes down to being warriors, what you were supposed to do was face down those Mexicans in California. Okay, don't let the sister go out there by herself and almost get jumped by them people. Y'all was supposed to be there as warriors to make sure that them people understand that y'all serious about y'all business. But see, the problem is when it comes down to actually doing battle with real people who are true enemies, they don't want to do that. They would rather argue with you. They'd rather dox you. They'd rather try to humiliate you on social media.
Make whack mumble raps.
Make rap records, you know, stuff like that. They rather do that.
Call you Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson, call you Democratic Shields, you know, all of these things, right? They rather do that kind of stuff. But when it come down to them,
what Otis call that?
You know, work avoidance.
Work avoidance.
When it come down to the Mexicans, when the Mexicans was ready to get down, everybody kind of dissipated.
That's right. What did BTP do? BTP, when we made sure we threw our names in the hat. We did a
yeah.
video.
Well, I don't listen. Let me tell you something. I don't have nothing to do with that because them people. Let me just say this.
Go ahead.
These people are instigating a lot of stuff with people in many instances. I'm not saying all of them, not all of them, but a lot of this diaspora stuff is being egged on by certain people.
That's a fact.
And so, you know, the reason you don't see us involved in diaspora wars with Africans and Caribbeans online is because that's not our interest. It's not our interest. Do we know that these people say all kinds of disrespectful things about Black Americans? Of course we know that. But we ain't going to change it by going back and forth with them on social media and going back and forth with Mexicans on social media, so much so to the point where they ready to get it in, and then you all of a sudden, you're a ghost. You're a ghost. See, them Mexican people is actual criminals. They like really like murderers and shit like
That's right.
that. And people know that. People know that there's a lot of them and that they're actually murderers. They're not just on social media talking. These people are murderers from another country. We're importing crime and criminals on a daily basis. So when it came down to it, you got a sister who carried a Freedman name out there damn near by herself, while all of the other people who started all of this shit was ghosts.
Ghosts. Because if I had started that shit, I'd have been right out there like, yo, what up? What up? Like, it's just as simple as that. So, but I feel what you're saying. And look, I mean, we still voiced our displeasure, and I understand exactly what you mean. We let it be known that regardless of the fact, we with our family. Now, y'all, many of these people, damn, they seem to come from the same place, have lost powerful allies in this fight. Yes, you have. And I listen to these guys, bro. I listen to the questions that they're asked, especially about reparations and politics and how they answer. And I just chuckle. And I'm like, yo, man, these people don't know what the hell they talking about, man. I'm talking about certain individuals. Like they don't know what they talking about. They propping these cats up like they leaders or something. They're not leading anything. They're just popular.
Well, listen, Black people like people that are popular. It doesn't matter whether they actually know what they're talking about or doing anything in particular, as long as it's popular, and especially if they got some money. If you look like you got some money or something like that, well, you must be the man. You must be doing something right. Even if it's grifting, they'll ignore that and they'll try to turn grifting into work. Like he's doing the work. Grifting and work, you know, like it's like grift. What is considered grifting could be considered work, depending on who's looking. So, you know, some people have viewed certain things as work, doing, quote unquote, doing the work, and other people see it for what it is, as the grifting that it is. But you know, like I said, man, Black folks like flashiness. You know, see somebody that's flashy. He got a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? You got a $2 million house. $3 million. You know, when it's like that, they look at it and be like, ah, man, you know, he must be doing something right. Well, the brother, one of the things about what Taharka has been doing, whether you like him or not, whether you think he got slapped or not, or whether he did get slapped or not, that's beside the point. But what he's actually done was he's actually exposed certain things. Okay. And so you can take it or let it alone. I really don't give a fuck. I don't care what these people do, what they believe, who they gonna rock with. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. You're grown. I don't care. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, a lot of stuff has been exposed already. And you got to be a fool to not see the stuff for what it is at this point. You can say what you want. You can say what you want. I don't care if you're in allegiance with him. I don't care whether or not
they know we don't care.
I don't care.
We say names and we'll kick ass. So they know that already.
So yeah, man, it's what it is, bro. Like whatever, man. And I'm not really like
with suckers. That's why our circle is so small. You could be a sucker with
that.
million followers. You don't make you no less of a sucker. So it is what it is.
I'm good with the small circle.
Yeah, me too. Because the only thing you do is the real. How that saying goes? Real recognize real. So the real gonna rock with you. The fakes and the phonies, those gonna be the ones that they're not gonna rock with you. And certain people, I called out even among the crew. 2-3 years ago. The crew, they used to be like, man, you bugging, Abba. Next thing you know, they'd be like, shit, you was right about this person or right about that person. Like, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. This is, let me just show them real quick. This is the draft that
What happened? The sound went out. Seemed like the sound went out to me, but I don't know.
can you hear me? Check.
Yeah. Now I can. Now I can. I can hear you now. Not now. It went back out. There you go. You must have a short. It must be a short or something.
Yeah, and I've got 2 brand new cords, so I don't know what it is, man. But we're about to upgrade all of this stuff anyway. So, let me know about if I go out again.
All right.
This was the post that Yvette attacked. I don't know how good y'all can see it, right? I want to read it though. I said we're putting together the Freedmen Force, the FF, the Military Academy, Freedmen ROTC. If you have military experience and or been a member of a drill team like the FOI and would like to assist us in putting this program together to bring discipline to our youth that is so desperately lacking, send an email to freedmen@outlook.com. That email is no longer in existence. Is it? Yeah, that's no longer in existence. Time to take things to the next level for the future of our tribe. And I should have said people, but y'all know what I mean by that. And this, I'm talking about doing a mentorship to whereas we could clean up the street. See, those people that rock with the agenda that she's on, who's cut her bloodline off, they don't care about servicing the youth. What Booker T. Washington said, let me pull up that. What Booker T said. It's another one I got from Grimm. Shout out to my brother Grimm. Shout out to my brother Logic. Shout out to all my bros. My brother Josh chilling right now. Shout out to Ibrahim. Let's pull up what one of our great elders, Booker T. Washington, said. And many people got his cast down your bucket speech all wrong. All wrong. We're going to break that down one day too. He said, there is another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. Some of these people ain't getting thousands of dollars a month via Cash App, Super Chats, donations, et cetera, if we lose these grievances. They love this stuff. So when you see somebody attacking a mentorship program that we were trying to put together for our youth who are killing themselves, although crime is at all-time lows in certain cities, it's just not good. It's still not a good look in New York and Chicago and Baltimore and Philly, you know, where we are. It's just not a good look. If we could reduce that crime just by implementing these types of programs while we push for reparative justice and introducing reparative measures, right? We can't just talk about it on YouTube all the time. What have you submitted to a legislator? Because I could raise my hand. If we at BTP, we could raise our hand. We can raise our hand. And we've put some things in the hands of other people as well. So I'm just saying, man, at some point we gotta be real about this thing. And you can
He went back out again.
1 2 1 2
There you go.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I'm good.
Good. Yep.
All right. You could choose to rock with those people, right? I'm not even going to tell you come rock with us. I'm going to just say, just go rock with them people. And you're going to see that nothing that they're doing is leading you anywhere. Where is the legislative policies and measures at? People hold Twitter spaces attacking other people. That's all they do. My Twitter account got hacked. I'm telling you, man, I kind of don't want to, I don't even care about the page no more. Everybody else around me is telling me, don't shut your Twitter page down. I just don't care about it anymore. I really don't. I don't. That's not where the work is at. That's where we post stuff at. And we can have what's supposed to be political conversations. That's what we're supposed to be having.
Yeah,
Political conversations.
The Twitter streets, they think Twitter is actually streets, and they're running people down in the street. This shit is, you get run down in the Twitter streets.
Yeah. What's going on, Cash 504? That's what they think. That's what they think. We had to the pretendians after the first day of OMB call-ins and testimonies went and held the space. Somebody sent me the clip. And they said, we cooked the freedmen. Yo, I mean, they was in the Twitter space talking about we cooked the freedmen.
Mm.
This is the ignorance that if people want to follow that, that's on y'all, man. We here. If you want to have a debate, no. Wait, hold on, bro. I gotta say it. I gotta say this. We know that they're never gonna debate. They're not. We've called them out. They're not gonna debate on anything because they know that they're phonies and they're just sick clout chasers, right? We know that. But ADOS, we've been calling Yvette Carnell, Antonio Moore, Reggie, when you gonna step up? All you do is tweet. That's all you do, Care Bear. When you gonna step up and have a debate? Prove that ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, is a better ethnic nomenclature for our people than American freedmen. Because it's one thing to make tweets and call into an OMB, what Bolo said in Bloodsport, the brick don't hit back. Why won't you have the debate? We called them out on their Democratic down ballot strategy. They attacked the Back South strategy. They only attacked it because we were pushing it. Yvette said the South was a despicable place to live.
So why is she living there?
While she's living here. We got the audio. We got the recording of this stuff. Like, these people are weird,
what
man.
makes it despicable?
Weirdos.
What makes it despicable? Is it the white people there, or is it the black people there? I want to know what makes the South despicable.
Exactly. So, then the people that's pushing FBA, get your leader, Tariq, come have this debate. We ain't gonna make cartoons and play with glue and arts and crafts and shit over here. We just gonna simply show and prove. So if FBA is what we need to be doing, and if it's not gonna be Tariq, one of them Twitter space dudes.
Yo, bro,
come step up.
That'll be
wait,
cool,
one more. And to those of you who are pushing African American, what's good? I'm free all day tomorrow. What's good? Like, let's get these debates popping. Let's see who could stand on their arguments. Because once we start dissecting stuff, y'all know ain't nobody fucking with BTP. And I don't say that in the braggadocious way. I just say it because that's just our track record. And it might come off a little braggadocious. Oh well. So come stand on your shit. Shinnecock. Miss Shinnecock. Come stand on your shit. African American. I'm talking to you especially. Come stand on your shit. If that's what you believe in, if you believe that that's what it should be, I'll drop the link. We could set it up. Hit my line. Y'all all got my number. Damn near. Let's set it up for tomorrow. I'm just saying. My bad. I had to get that last one out. Because, we've been made to be the bad guys because people chose to go another way. You could have just said that shit from the get-go. We'd have been like, all right, we not rocking with that. But okay, we not rocking with that. And that would have been it. But nope. Y'all went scorched earth, so it is what it is. We're going to either move this thing or it's just no need to even move it. There's no need to do anything. Just fall back, watch the Confederacy rise in our face. The next thing you know, they're going to start raising them Confederate flags back up. Listen, hear me, family. If there is a Confederate type president like DeSantis or Trump in 2024, they are going to start raising those Confederate flags back up. And what are we doing? We fighting each other. So I'm one. I'm not going to speak for my whole team. I'm one. If we could go in the backyard and shoot 5 minutes so we could get it off our chest and, dap it up, have a beer after that, then I'll extend that courtesy. Because right now, I ain't fucking with none of them. None of them. No hashtag, acronym groups, none of them. Point blank, period. Not fucking with none of them. But if you brave enough to step up and have the debate, we could slap backs after it's over and crack a cold one, and be done with it. And be done with it. But the winner's still going to be the winner. And BTP, what Prime say? BTP don't take no losses. BTP don't take no losses. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You got anything you want to say, Ali, before we get up out of here?
Well, no, I'm gonna just leave it where it's at. I'm gonna leave it where it's at because it ain't even worth going any further into it. I'll leave it where it's at.
Indeed. OG Otis said AB 3121 might not make it out of committee for a floor vote. 2024 may be brutal for Dems. That's why Sheila Jackson Lee and Karen Baz ran to mayor backup. Yeah, they trying to do them little local things. Now, right now, we should be organizing in Houston and in Los Angeles. Like, I'm for doing what's right, not what's feasible or what's easy. That's why we do what we do. That's why our numbers are the way that they are, because that's what happens when you're doing what's right. And you're not an entertainer and you're not a clown or none of that bullshit. It's just what happens. The real have always been a handful. That's why there's a saying, I'd rather 10 lions than 100 sheep. I watch hundreds and hundreds of sheep being led around by big sheep. That's it. It's lions over here. Lions are over here. Lions, tigers, bears, chest-beating gorillas, all that alpha shit is over here. But now we got some sisters that's coming on board. But I'm talking about BTP specifically. BTP specifically. So, fam, it is what it is, man. I wanted to get up here and I wanted to talk. We got maybe 2 more weeks before we launch the channel again officially and start getting back into our content. But did you want to touch on that Roland Martin thing again before we got up off air? You good?
Can you play it one more time?
All right, yeah. Let's play that Roland Martin clip, because that's what I want people to leave with. You know, the challenge is already out there. The challenge is already out there. If BTP wrong, come prove us wrong. That's all. Shit, we was watching the old video yesterday and today, and we were saying, yo, we got so much shit wrong rocking with ADO. And you know, maybe one of y'all could come expose a little kink in the armor. Come. I'm here. I'm your Huckleberry. I'm your Huckleberry. All right, let's play this one more time before we get up out of here.
We're seeing this in Mississippi, where they're expanding the police force in Jackson, and it's going to cover the area where most of the white folks live in Jackson, Mississippi. We're seeing these things happen all across this country. And what people have to understand is that the actions that are being undertaken, Reese, these are not just one-offs. These are clear. This is a pattern that the Republican Party has devised. What we are seeing is the rise of the Confederacy in 2023. And Southern Democrats, those racist Southern Democrats, during that period of slavery and Reconstruction, that today is the Republican Party. Period with the T.
Period with the T. Yeah, go ahead, Ali. What you want to say to that before we get off here?
I think people better take heed that between that and even some of the things that are happening internationally. There's some issues. There's some issues, and this country could experience some very volatile things in the future. And so I would just say, just take heed, man. Take heed and pay attention. Pay attention. From the looks of it, it looks like there are certain countries that might be willing to team up against the United States, man. So I just say we just got to be very, very aware of what's going on and spend more time, preparing for foreseeable problems as opposed to worrying about running somebody down in some imaginary Twitter street. That's all I say.
All right, no doubt. All right, fam. I wanted to come on here tonight. It's been a minute since we did anything, and I want to start getting this channel popping and getting it in the algorithm, because this is where we're going to be doing our live streams from. We're going to still upload content on our other channel, but we're going to grow this channel up right here. The name probably won't be BTP Media Group for long. I'm not sure on that. That's something that I'll discuss with the brothers, and we're gonna go from there, man. Go to the web if you haven't put your comment in for the OMB. Go to the website. Let me put the link in the chat, because we only got about 6 or 7 days left, and so we want to make sure that our template is up in there. We want, when they're filtering through, because they're only considering, we're going to be real. When it comes to our people, they're only considering 2 candidates. And that's the follow and swallow hashtag cult and their brand, ADOS, and American Freedmen. They have no legs to stand on. That's why they tried to attack the Freedman name. They have no legs to stand on. We put together the most comprehensive I scrolled through the comments. I've seen the ADOS stuff. I was like, this is weak. I listened to them when they called in. Weak. This is weak. All of it is weak. All of it is weak. And I'm not saying that because, we're in opposition. I'm saying that because it's just weak. Point blank, period. So, Make sure y'all click on that link. The instructions are there. Paste your name in. Put that comment, and that whole comment is going to fit in that link. Everything on that page is going to fit in that link. Let's let them see that we're serious about this thing. I know, some people have hit me up recently. We were trying to get a little advertisement done on a popular Instagram channel, but that didn't come through. So we're pushing for reparations. Let me say this before I get off. Our push, and I support state efforts. Like, I'm gonna be real, because reparations is reparations, and I'm not gonna backtrack on my position because I ain't rocking with certain individuals anymore. Reparations is reparations. Repair is repair. In Athens, Georgia, right now, there's a group that are gathering to raise $110,000 to give to the displaced victims of Lenintown, where UGA in the state of Georgia. Let me pull something up real quick and show y'all. I'm not just talking. I want to show y'all what reparations is. Hold on. So let's blow that up a little bit. So reparations in the United States, an historical timeline of reparations payments made from 1783 through 2023 by the United States government, states, cities, religious institutions, universities, corporations, and communities. Right now, in Athens, Georgia, there is a community, largely white folk, who looked at the Lenintown situation and they took it in their hands. They took it in their hands to say, well, because of the gratuities clause in the state of Georgia, the state won't give reparations. They won't give reparations. Straight up. That's right, Sister Antonia. Let's bring it all the way home for the ancestors, family. That's right. So because of that, these people, this community, got together and they are going to give these displaced victims, they're going to split up 110,000. I can't remember how many of them there is, but they're going to make sure they get something out of it. That's reparations, family. So I'm not going to backtrack and say I don't support certain measures, but what we're doing has implications at the federal level, not one particular state or states. What we're attempting to do, let me say, we're thinking about all of us and what we feel is the easier path forward, the path of least resistance. Because, and I want to make something really clear before I get off of here. Let me make something really clear before I get off of here, before I get up off of here. Because there's been some confusion about Freedmen, because that's what this gelatinous clown was saying in the Twitter space that day with his little corny sneak attack. He was saying, y'all gonna mess the Freedman status up by pushing American freedmen. You gotta come up with some excuse, right? When you're pushing what you're pushing. And I understand that part of it. But you have to also be prepared for your position to be challenged and ultimately debunked, which is what I'm about to do right now. Freedman is the status. Chickasaw Freedman, Choctaw Freedman, Seminole Freedman, Cherokee Freedman, Muskogee Freedman. Those are their ethnic names. Those are ethnic names. Their status as freedmen is intact. And y'all let me know if y'all can't hear me or not, because I keep tapping my 1 2 1 2. Let me know if y'all can hear me. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. 1 2 1 2. I might end this thing. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So Riri says she heard me the whole time. Mic check, mic check. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay. So we good now. Can you hear me, Ali? Okay. 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 So, yeah, so I'm focusing on something different in Georgia. The gratuities clause thing, I've been told is going to be a difficult thing to try to get, I guess, overturned and put back to its original intent, what the intended purpose of the gratuities clause is for. So I'm kind of recentering my focus right now in the state of Georgia. We got some things that are brewing up. Sister Satra Del Rey and everybody that's in Georgia. Let's remember, stay connected. I wanted to do a Zoom call, but I just kind of got caught up last weekend. So I might do a Zoom call next weekend with the Georgia family because we going to carve our footprints out here in this red Georgia clay because we freedmen. It don't matter that I came down here from New York 16 years ago because our detractors try to use that as well. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. I'm a freedman, and my people in Georgia are freedmen, and our detractors are freedmen also. So let me get back to freedmen status. I've named off the 5 tribes. Their status as freedmen with those tribes is still intact. That status, by proxy, is also recognized by the United States government. Jeez, this thing keeps going out. All right, I'm about to shut this thing down. All right, I'm gonna shut this thing down because y'all can't hear me, and I really wanted to break this part down. So let me shut it down.